right, guys, some big and I know exciting news for our audience. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. The Clinton Global Initiative is back. Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea returned to center stage, their own, after going dark during Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. The Clinton Global Initiative is back. And you knew, Saagar, that the moment they felt like they might be able to get away with it, they would bring back their big confab. This is, I really think for Hillary, and maybe even more so for Bill, like their big aspiration is just to be sort of leaders of this cadre of global elite.
Bill especially.
And this was their convening. They loved that they could bring all these people in from around the world who would sort of bend the knee to them and all of this. But they had this line in the New York Times article that I thought actually put it pretty well. They said, in many ways, the early days of CGI were the high watermark of the philanthro-capitalism era, when trust in the wealthy and celebrities to save the world ran high. In turn, many significant organizations modeled themselves after the Clintons' endeavor. It really does feel like a throwback to a time period when people could have deluded themselves into thinking Hillary Clinton could give all these speeches on Wall Street to Goldman Sachs and then go ahead and like present herself as, you know, a friend to the working class. That bubble has very much been burst, and this just feels like, you know, it just feels like such an anachronism to go back to that time.
I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, the CGI was crazy too. You know, I wrote a lot of stuff back in 2015 about the CGI and the Clinton Foundation. And I mean, the cutouts that they were using for their political career was insane. Like, my personal favorite was the Moroccan king, who literally admitted he was only donating to the Clinton Foundation so he could get a meeting with Hillary because he knew that she would probably be the next president.
I mean, that
so
was
it's like,
almost...
It was like direct,
it
like
was almost, it was
for play.
Sort of
like,
part and parcel of the whole idea.
Yeah.
Was like that their star power and their potential political power was what caused all these people to gather and do, you know,
that they can then use for their vanity,
their commitment and whatever,
travel and like all their family commitments. You know, it's like all this stuff. It remains like one of the more like outwardly corrupt enterprises that was at the front of American politics. And of course, they bring it back. I do think though that, like you said, in the context of today, it just reads like a total grift. Yeah. Whereas at that time, I mean, I'm not gonna say most of us knew it was a grift, but I guess it was just more socially accepted to do so.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it had all those like girl boss, lean in feminism elements to it as well. They call it a Davos on the Hudson event, which I think is kind of perfect. It's another one of these places where rich people can sort of like make themselves feel good, feel like they're part of the solution,
the World Economic Forum,
rather than, you know, really clearly part of the problem.
Right.
They mention here too, I mean, basically you had this hiatus because of the questions around it and because of Hillary's campaign. And this is sort of, I guess, the first moment where they felt like they might be able to get away with it. But the price of admission has been cut in half. So it gives you a sense of, you know, even they don't think that they can really restore it to its former glory and grandeur, because that moment has just more than passed for them.
Very true.
All right, guys, more for y'all later. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.